Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the 1972 NFL season replay in Momentum Football. We had a dominant showing for the Packers at Lambeau Field last night as they took out the Bears rather handily. So tonight we're on to Week 5 as we're headed to Mile High Stadium for the Denver Broncos to host the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings come into this game with a record of 2-2, which is good for second place in the NFC Central. The Broncos come in with a record of 1-3, which is good for third place in the AFC West. And it's very early in the season, so we're not really thinking about the playoffs yet. But we are set for another regular season showdown here in Momentum Football. We'll start off as usual with the coin toss. And the colors we've got for that tonight: blue for the Broncos, white for the Vikings, and as usual, red's the decision. Odds, the winning team will defer. Evens, the winning team will receive the first half kickoff. That will be the Vikings winning the toss, and the red, they will defer. So the Broncos will get the ball first to start the game. Vikings win toss, defer. All right, so we are just about set for the opening kickoff. We'll go for Denver, first quarter, one time. Opening kickoff. And the Broncos do have a chance to return this kickoff for a touchdown, but they need an 11 on the red and white dice, and then a 46 and under on blue and yellow. That's a 42. No return for the kickoff. No return on the kickoff for a touchdown. We'll tick off our first time, and the Broncos will get their first drive of the game. Denver's first drive of the first quarter. We are going to be ticking 6 time off the clock for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 3 on the defense control factor is coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 53, and that will be a field goal attempt. Jim Turner will come out to try to give the Broncos the lead to start this game. He is an 11-51 on the field goal, so let's see what he can do with this one. That is a 52. Kick is up, and it is no good. No good. And that will pull momentum over toward the Vikings. 10, 12, 17 is a 29-yard kick. He misses that one wide left. And that will pull momentum over to the Vikings for their first drive of the game. Let's see what the Vikings are able to do with this one. They're taking off 6 time off the clock as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6 is coming off of Minnesota's offense with a 32, and the Vikings are going to have to punt that away. We'll see if the punt gets blocked. There's a chance for the Vikings to have the punt blocked. An 11 on red and white, then a 43 on blue and yellow. 36 says the punt is not blocked, but a 52 will use that for the return roll, so there is a chance of a return, and the Broncos can return the punt for a touchdown. They need an 11-12 on red and white, then a 24 and under on blue and yellow. So we'll go no block, and we'll roll for the return for the Broncos. That's a 32, no return for a touchdown. Well, it's very early for me to call it a defensive showdown, but let's see what the Broncos do with their next drive of the first quarter. Taking another 8 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A 6 is coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 60, Actually, that's a 6 coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 63. And that's going to be a touchdown run, and the Broncos will draw first blood in this one. We'll see who makes the touchdown run. .52 says that's going to be Joe Dawkins running that in from 3 yards out. And Turner will automatically add the extra point to make this 7-0 in favor of the Broncos, as I have to readjust the logo. We'll tick off one time for the kickoff before the Vikings get their next drive of the first quarter. Now the Vikings find themselves needing to respond, as the crowd here at Mile High Stadium is very electric with what's going on here tonight. That will be taking another 8 time off the clock. The Vikings get a grinding drive of their own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 is coming off of Denver's defense with a 63. That's going to be a touchdown pass, and the Vikings are going to get the touchdown right back. They'll pull momentum right back over. Minnesota's touchdown will be caught by John Gillum from 6 yards out. Yes, not duplicate. And their kicker is Fred Cox. He'll come out and add the extra point. The Broncos get a touchdown run, and the Vikings answer it with a touchdown pass. And with that, we are all tied at 7. Broncos with a chance to return the kickoff for a touchdown. Let's see if I can stop dropping dice, and then we'll see what the Broncos can do with the kickoff. 42 says a whole lot of not much. Denver with their third drive, I believe this is, of the first quarter. Yes. Broncos will be ticking another 7 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. An 8 is coming off of Denver's offense. Yes. But a 16. It's going to be an interception, and the Vikings are going to take that one right back, which will let them pull momentum all the way over. The Vikings do have a chance to return the interception for a touchdown. They need an 11-13 on the red and white dice, and a 13 takes a 43 and under on the blue and yellow. That's a 55, so the 66 will be Nate Wright with the interception for the Vikings. And now Minnesota with their first drive, or their third drive, I should say, of the first quarter. Let's see what the Vikings are able to do with this drive. Taking 3 time off the clock. This is one of the quicker drives that I've ever had since I started playing Momentum football. 4 will be coming off of Denver's defense with a 21, and that's going to be a quarterback sack. We'll pull momentum over, and the Vikings will lose 3 yards on the sack. So a very mild loss on the sack, but the Vikings will have to punt that one away. We'll see if the punt gets off. Punt will get off with the 26, and then it's 46 is a chance of a return. So the Broncos can try to return this one for a touchdown. That's a 12 and a 24 exactly, and that'll be Charlie Greer who will run that one all the way back. He'll catch that one at about his own 35, and then he'll take it all the way back for a Broncos touchdown. And that will get the crowd electrified all over again. And out will come Turner again to add the extra point. And the Broncos will now take a 14-7 lead over the Vikings. Once I get the scoreboard adjusted. There we go. And the crowd at Mile High Stadium suddenly electric. That was momentum changing twice. Vikings coming back out. Now they need to get a response together for that from that special teams play. That seems like it should be somewhat helpful as they'll take 8 time off the clock, which should take us into the second quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will take us into the second quarter. I'll remember to change that. 8 is coming off of Minnesota's offense. Yes. With a 55. And that's going to be a field goal attempt. Cox will come out to try to cut this lead. They'll come out to try to cut the lead to 4. Dave Gardner, first to join us here at Mile High Stadium. Yes, I do really like this game, and it helps. A lot of what's helping here with this one, Dave, is the fact that it gives me a football feel, but it's not the sprawling mess of some of the other games that I've played. So let's see if Cox can put the field goal up in 11-45. That's a 66. That was a terrible idea. Kick is up and no good. 36, 44, and 17 is a 61-yard kick. Why would you try a kick like that in 1972? That seems like a terrible idea. I've seen way too many long kicks just not go anywhere. Let's see what the Broncos are able to do with their next drive, suddenly with a 1-touchdown lead. Okay, probably not much with that, but we'll take another 9 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A 12 is coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 43, and that's going to be a punt. The Broncos are going to have to punt that one away. Minnesota with a chance to block the punt, an 11 on red and white, and then a 44 and under on blue and yellow. We'll skip the return portion because Minnesota can't return punts for a touchdown. That's a 15, close to a block, but Van Heusen is able to get that one away for the Broncos. So no block on the punt. Minnesota looking at their next drive. This is their second drive of the second quarter. Minnesota still needs to get this touchdown back that they surrendered on a punt return of their own. That won't help. That's 5 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5 is coming off of Denver's defense with a 23. That's going to be another quarterback sack, and the Vikings are not catching a break on this one. Let's see what kind of yard loss. 6-yard loss this time, so a little bit worse on the sack. And the ensuing punt. Chance to have this blocked. 36 is no block. 24, no return. Denver looking at their second drive of the second quarter. Minnesota will get the ball to start the second half, so there's an opportunity there if Minnesota can keep this close. But we watched Green Bay run away with this one last night. So we watched Green Bay run away with their game with Chicago last night. So Minnesota needs to be mindful of what happened to the Bears last night. That's another 6 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. An 8 is coming off of Denver's offense with a 13. And that's going to be an interception, and the Vikings are going to be showing some life here. We'll see if they can return this one for a touchdown. They need an 11 to 13, and a 13 takes a 43 and under on the blue and yellow dice. That's a 16, so no interception return for a touchdown, but a 26 will be Paul Krause making that interception. If you're the Vikings, you needed that one. Minnesota's next drive of the second quarter as the offense comes back out on the field after getting a huge interception. All right, we're taking another 7 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 5 is coming off of Denver's defense with a 53. That'll be a field goal attempt. Fred Cox has already missed from 61. Let's see if the Vikings have a little better luck with this kick. They need an 11 to 45. Flip the red and white, and that would be good, but as it is, that's another kick that is no good. Pulling momentum back toward the Broncos. 20, 31, 48-yard kick. That's up and no good. Score remains 14 to 7 as we're getting deeper into the second quarter. Actually, the second quarter is almost over. 4:40 left to play in the quarter. Broncos ball. Let's see what the Broncos are able to do with it. That's another 7 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 9 is coming off of Denver's offense. Yes. But a 12 is not something they're going to like to see. That's a fumble, and somebody put it on the ground for the Broncos. Let's see if the Vikings are able to return for a touchdown. 11 to 15 on red and white, and 36 and under on blue and yellow if the red and white is a 15. That's a 54, no fumble return for a touchdown, but a 56 will be picked up by Roy Winston. And Minnesota will probably have one more chance before we start the second half. As long as this drive doesn't take more than 8 time, the Vikings will get their drive. Okay, looks like we've got an all sixes rare play. I've never had quad 9s come up before. I believe there's a rare play that goes with that. Let me see if I can track it down here. I believe those rare plays are optional, but I do want to try this one out because I've never had a rare play pop up before. Oh, right here. Team lines up for a field goal, and it's a fake. So it looks like we have to roll the red and white on that one. But actually, I take that back. That'll be 12 time. So never mind. No rare play on that one. I was getting excited for a second. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I apologize for the driving there. It's a nice night out, and I wanted to have the window open. So at the end of the first half, score remains 14 to 7 in favor of the Broncos. And I'm going to take a small break just to wet my whistle a little bit. The 1972 NFL season is very much humming along. Tomorrow night, we'll be in Week 6 of the 1972 NFL season. The San Diego Chargers will be in Detroit visiting, what is Detroit's home stadium? They'll be visiting Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan, as they play the Lions. Both teams probably need to get something going here, but I don't have the records in front of me. So I don't know that off the top of my head. So that was 12 time. End of half. We also still have Ultra Quick Football by Downey Games coming up after tonight's game is over. Minnesota will now take the field for the start of the second half. Their offense will get the ball first. So the Vikings have their first drive of the third quarter. Thankfully for them, momentum is reset, and they're still within a touchdown. Taking another 9 time off the clock. That'll be a grinding drive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is coming off of Minnesota's offense with a 53. That's another field goal attempt, and why the hell would you trust this kicker who apparently can't make a kick to save his life tonight? But let's see what the Vikings are able to do with Cox, trying to get this game within 4. That's a 42, which is just barely going to be up and good. That'll be the first kick he's made. He's missed from... Cox so far has missed from 61, which to be fair was a very long kick for him anyway, and 48. But this one will be good. 8, 13, and 17 is 30 yards. Not momentum changing because it didn't let the Vikings take the lead. But now the Vikings are within 4, as it's now 14-10 in favor of the Broncos. The Vikings needed that kick. Let's see if the Broncos can do anything with the kickoff return. The 23 says no return on the kickoff. Denver with their first drive of the second half, as the Vikings are now suddenly within striking distance. They'll be ticking off another 7 time. The Vikings are not going to like that roll, most likely. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 8 is coming off of Denver's offense with a 61. And that's going to be a touchdown run, and Mile High Stadium has been electric pretty much all night. See who made the rushing touchdown for the Broncos. 15 says that will be Floyd Little, and we've got doubles. So that looks like it's going to be a very long run. Now I've got to check how the long procedure works on that. So reroll and multiply by the player's long rating. So that was Floyd Little. Let's see how long that run was. This is going to be times 4. 4 times 4 is a 16-yard run. And that will bring Turner out to add the extra point. And the Broncos will now open up a 21-10 lead over the Vikings. The Broncos have had some miscues tonight, but the Vikings have not been able to take advantage of them. Taking off 1 time on the kickoff because the Vikings can't return a kickoff for a touchdown, but the Vikings will get their second drive of the third quarter. As they're ticking off another 8 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down to 6 minutes left in the third quarter. And 8 is coming off of Minnesota's offense with a 25, and the Vikings will have to punt that one away. We'll see if the punt gets off. That's a 35. Punt will get off. 32, no return. So Denver will get their second drive of the third quarter. Let's see what the Broncos are able to do here. That's another 6 time. That might be a roll the Vikings more like to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8 is coming off of Denver's offense with a 41, and that's a key run. We'll see if the Broncos can continue the drive. All right, the 54 is going to Bobby Anderson, and a 36 is the Broncos are going to have to punt. So we'll roll for the punt to see if that gets off. There won't be a punt return for a touchdown, of course. That's a 42, so no block. And again, skipping the return procedure. Not that the 11 would have allowed for a return anyway. So Minnesota does pull momentum over since they stopped the key run. We'll see what the Vikings can do with this drive. The Vikings need points right now. And I need to stop dropping dice. That won't give them points, most likely. 6 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is coming off of Minnesota's offense with a 14, and that's going to be another fumble. The Vikings cannot afford these miscues. We'll see if the Broncos can... Actually, the Broncos can't return it for a touchdown. But that will be Lyle Alzado making that recovery. He'll fall on the ball for the Broncos. And the Broncos are definitely trying to ice this one. Seems like there's a board curse or something. Anyway, taking off 7 time from the clock. That shouldn't pull us into the 4th quarter, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. Won't pull us into the 4th quarter. 10 will be coming off of Denver's offense with a 32. The Broncos will have to punt that one away. We'll see if the punt gets off. Punt goes through with no problem. There would be a return, but Minnesota can't return punts for a touchdown, so no need to worry about the punt return procedure. And after, 3, 7. And after 3, the Broncos holding a 21-10 lead. As we move into the 4th quarter for the Vikings' first drive of the 4th quarter. The Vikings need points right now. They also need wins, even though we're not really looking at the playoffs yet. There should be an eye on that, because we're definitely gonna fly through at least 6 games this week. So we'll be looking at the playoff picture soon, and every game counts. That won't help them either. 7 time coming off the clock to start the 4th quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 7 is coming off the team with momentum, and right now that's Denver with a 31 on Denver's defense. Minnesota will have to punt that one away. We'll see if Minnesota gets the punt blocked. Not a chance on the 63. 26 is no chance of a return. Denver in the 4th quarter. We'll see what happens here. 6 time coming off the clock for the Broncos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6 is coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 12. And that's going to be a fumble. The Vikings are going to jump on that one. We'll see if the Vikings can return that for a touchdown. Not likely the way they're playing tonight. That's a 23. No fumble return for a touchdown. But a 22 will be Wally Hilgenberg picking that one up. and that will pull momentum back toward the middle. Minnesota in the fourth quarter still needs points. They want high rolls on that red die. That seems like it'll be helpful, taking off another 6 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7 is coming off the team with momentum, which in this case it's even, so it goes to the home team, that's Denver, with a 51. That'll be a field goal attempt. And if I'm the Vikings, I'm very nervous about sending Cox on in a situation like this. You're down by 11. You need this to be up and good. Although even that won't cut into the lead far enough. Because 2-point conversions weren't a thing back in 1972. So let's see what Cox can do with the kick here. He'll get that one up, and that will be good. 12, 9, so 21, 38-yard kick for Cox. That is up and good. And 13-21. And now Minnesota with a decision to make. Because you're down to 8:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. Once I remember to change the scoreboard. You're down 8. Your defense is actually playing decently well. You've picked up 1, 2, 3. You picked up 4 turnovers. What do you think in this situation, Dave? Honestly, I'm kind of leaning toward kicking this one deep, but I'm open to an argument here in trying for an onside kick, because you're down 8, your defense is playing pretty well. And actually, in chat, feel free to weigh in as well. I'm leaning toward kicking this one deep and trusting the defense to get the ball back. But you are down to about 8:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. And one more touchdown, actually one more score of any kind from the Broncos probably just ices it at this point. And it's very hard to get onside kicks back. So I'll give you about a minute if you want to weigh in on that. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to kick this one deep. We'll adjust that. Just making sure everything looks good here on screen so I can mostly read everything. I do expect the Broncos to end up with the ball anyway, so I think I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and kick this one deep. If I'm the Vikings here, my defense is playing pretty well. I think I trust the defense to get the ball back. So we'll tick off 1 time on the kickoff, and we'll let the Vikings kick it deep. Actually, there's a chance to return it for a touchdown, so we've got to roll for that. That's not very likely, and no touchdown. So Denver, with Denver's offense taking the drive next, only up by 8. And that's not something you want to see if you're the Vikings right now. You're taking off 9 times. You're taking 9 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 11 is coming off of Denver's offense with a 53, and that's going to be a field goal attempt. If I'm the Vikings right now, I'm very nervous with Turner coming out. He's a much better kicker than Cox is, for sure. Let's see if you're the Vikings, you're hoping this sails like crazy. That's a 55, and your wish has been granted. The kick is up, and it is no good. Misses it wide left. Turner did miss a 29-yard chip shot. This one, in his defense, wasn't a chip shot. 25 plus 8 is 33. Plus 17 is a 50-yard kick. The question is, does Minnesota's gamble pay off? They've got their next drive coming up. That might be helpful. 6 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so 6 is coming off of Minnesota's offense. Yes, 6 is coming off of Minnesota's offense with a 53, and that's a field goal attempt. You got Cox coming out, who did just make it from, did just make one from 38. And Cox needs an 11 to 45. You got the Minnesota sideline very nervous here. If this Minnesota probably tries an onside kick here if this field goes up and good. That's a 65. Kick is no good, and the Broncos breathe a sigh of relief. Let's see, 37 plus 17 is another 54-yard kick. That will pull momentum back and probably make it just enough for the Broncos to get the win in this one. Let's see what the Broncos are able to do with this one, because it's their ball coming up. The Broncos are going to tick 7 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Broncos are probably going to be coming out in victory formation soon. 2 is coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 63, and that's a touchdown run, and that will ice the game. Let's see who made the score for the Broncos. .42 is Floyd Little once again, and we've got doubles. Philip Anderson now joins us at Mile High Stadium. And unfortunate, you had Minnesota for a sleeper pick coming into this one for doing great in the season, actually going into the week. Yeah. Well, Minnesota's defense was actually playing pretty well tonight, but they just couldn't take advantage of Denver's miscues. They're going to rue getting 4 turnovers and not getting points off of them, as we're rolling for a doubles on a long run from Floyd Little. 9 times 4, that's going to be a 36-yard run, and the defense picks a terrible time to lay an egg. Turner will come in and add the extra point. And the Broncos will now open up a 28-13 lead, as Mile High Stadium is going to be very happy to see the Broncos get closer to 500. We'll tick 1 time off for the kickoff, and then Minnesota, unless they have all ones, we're going to hear the final gun very shortly, and the game will be over. And in news that shocks, well, not yours truly, we are taking more than 2 time off the clock, 8 time coming off the clock, and there's the final gun for the end of the game. The Denver Broncos will take this one by a final score of 28-13. Both teams will move to 2-3 on the season. Denver picking up a huge win, trying to stay in the AFC West. The Vikings, again, had 4 turnovers, but they couldn't do anything with them. So congratulations to the Denver Broncos, but we are not done yet. We've got Ultra Quick Football and the NFL Ticker coming up next. ID Jester now joining us in time for Ultra Quick Football. It is now time for the NFL Ticker, brought to you by Ultra Quick Football by Downey Games. The Broncos get a Broncos get a big win over the Vikings, 28-13. Both teams going to 2-3 on the season. But now the question becomes, how did your team do if they didn't play tonight? Let's find out with the ticker. First up, we've got the Bears and the Browns. The Bears roll a 68. They're adding 6 points to their base score. Browns roll a 16. They're subtracting 6 points from theirs. And the Bears will take that one by a final score of 10-5. Chargers and the Dolphins. Chargers roll a 15. They're subtracting 7 points from their base score. Dolphins roll an 18. They're subtracting 6 points from theirs. And the Dolphins will take that one by a final score of 15-0. Jets and the Patriots. Jets roll a 6, subtracting 10 points from their base score. Patriots roll a 99. They're adding 21 to theirs. And the Patriots will take that one by a final score of 36-19. Rams and the Eagles. Rams roll a 29. They're subtracting 2 points from their base score. The Eagles roll an 88. They're adding 10 points to theirs. Let me make sure that the score is right there. 29. Subtracting 2 points because my handwriting is absolutely terrible. So I'm going to try to clean that up. But the Rams will take that game by a final score of 18-16. Falcons and the Saints. Falcons roll a 54. They're adding 2 points to their base score. Saints roll an 11. They're subtracting 7 points from theirs. And the Falcons will get by the Saints by a final score of 19-0. Redskins and the Cardinals. Redskins roll an 80. They're adding 8 points to their base score. Cardinals roll a 94. They're adding 14 points to theirs, but that's not enough to get them past the Redskins, who will take that game by a final score of 25-14. Bills and the Raiders. Bills roll a 42 for no change to their base score. Raiders roll a 43, also for no change to theirs. The Raiders will take that one by a final score of 23-8. Bengals and the Chiefs. Bengals roll an 87. They're adding 10 points to their base score. The Chiefs roll a 68. They're adding 6 points to theirs. And the Bengals will get that one by a final score of 22-17. Cowboys and the Colts. Cowboys roll a 48 for no change to their base score. Colts roll a 56, adding 2 points to theirs. But that's not enough for the Colts, as the Cowboys are going to pick that one up by a final score of 11-6. Giants and the 49ers. Giants roll a 17, subtracting 6 points from their base score. Niners roll a 42 for no change to theirs. The Niners will take that one by a defensive slugging match, 13-10. Oilers and the Steelers. This should be a blowout. Oilers roll a 28, subtracting 2 points from their base score, but it's already 0. Steelers roll a 94. They're adding 14 points to theirs. And the Steelers are going to spank the Oilers at home by a final score of 37-0. Last up, Packers and the Lions. Green Bay coming off of a dominant performance last week. Packers roll a 41 for no change to their base score. The Lions roll a 74. They will add 7 points to their base score. And the Lions will take that one from the Packers by a final score of 18-13. And that's your NFL ticker for Week 5. If your team won tonight, congratulations. If they didn't, there's always tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be live at Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan, as the Detroit Lions will be hosting the San Diego Chargers in a big game for both teams, as now we're starting to get into the middle of the season. In addition to that coming up, still a busy week on the channel. Wednesday we'll be jumping back up on our Night Fighter ace as we play back up on our Night Fighter as we play Night Fighter Ace from Compass Games. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the official Catan cookbook with the side, 7-grain bread. And next week, we'll be continuing our Cthulhu RPG with a different system as we play the Legacy of Cthulhu. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.